Thank you for joining me for this show. This show is going to be about how I make my cloth beads. Step-by-step process. I'll probably have a two-part to this so it doesn't get too long-winded. First of all, get right into it. You're going to want some materials, and I'll show you what they are. First, you're going to want an assorted color of threads. It can be embroidery threads or it can be regular threads. You're going to want a scrap of fabric. It can be from anything you use, old t-shirt, whatever. And then you're going to need a sewing needle. I prefer like a thick, really durable type of needle, sewing needle. Okay, let's begin. So first what you want to do is you could either use this like a spool from thread, an emptied out one, or a colored pencil. And this will determine the width of the hole for the bead. Okay, so let's get to it. See if I can show you how to do it. Okay, first what I want to do is I take this pencil and I wrap the fabric around the pencil all the way, like so. So it's wrapped all the way around. If you have a smaller scrap of fabric, it's going to be not as thick. So if you don't want it as thick, don't make the strap as long. I like the thicker ones because they seem like they might be a lot more durable. Okay, so wrap it all the way around, and there you go. So the next step you want to do is thread your needle with any color thread you want. Since I didn't thread my needle yet, I'm just going to use the needle to keep this spot in place so it doesn't unravel. So let me thread my needle. And it doesn't really matter which color thread you use when you're doing this. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew a seam down this middle so that the part that we wrapped around won't unravel and it'll stay together when you're doing your embroidered cloth bead design on there. Now you can do all kinds of different designs. I pretty much like to just do it free-formed. I just pick, any color, and whatever color works, I just keep going with that. So you could even plan it out, like if you want to do stripes or any other kind of design, you can do that. You could probably even like draw it onto the fabric first before you do the design and just embroider it on, and that can be discussed in another show. So let's see, get this, thread it really quick, just a second. So yeah, these are really good for the ones with the bigger holes. If you use an empty thread spool instead of a pencil, they can serve as like dread beads for like thick dreads. And I'll show you maybe even the next video how to do one of those. But right now I think for this video I'll just stick to the pencil. Okay, so it's a little lumped out because I didn't thread my there. Okay, here we go. So you got your fabric wrapped around your pencil. And here's that little spot right there you want to sew on into the middle. You don't need to thread as much, put as much thread onto the needle as I did. But here it is, like that. And you're just wanting to make sure that it'll secure it on there, basically. So, I usually like to go at least 2 or 3 times up and down the middle. Twice can be just fine, but just I'm trying to make sure that all this fabric that's bunched up that we rolled around the pencil stays on the pencil while I'm doing the embroidered design. Okay. So I think you guys get the point of this here. So there, see it is. Okay, that's sewn right down the middle so it'll stay in place and it won't move around when you embroider it. So, sorry. So you can continue sewing it. So, And if you want, you don't have to continue with the color you already have to sew it down the middle. You could like just cut that off and pick another color, but right now I don't want to waste any thread. So, and when doing this type of bead, you do go through a lot of thread. So, oops, camera's going over. Okay, see that? Okay, here, I'm gonna cut this. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna show you what it looks like in the process of doing one that's not on the pencil and it's on an empty thread spool. This is one I've been working on, and it's this design here. See what I mean? When you keep going and going and going with the thread, heavy application of it, it gives more of a thicker texturized look. And this will, I'll take it off. I'm not done with it yet, but I'll take it off and let you see. See this bead? See the hole, the width of the hole? This sized, like spool, thread spool, will make that size bead. You can use it. You can use if you make like thread. If you make like thick braids, you can put that on in. You can put it on like really thick dreadlocks. You can use it as a dreadlock holder. So that's one of them. And let's see. I'll show you what it looks like with the one using a pencil after it's done. Let's see. Get you a good one here. I get a few of them so you can get an idea of all the very kind of designs that kind of come about with me. I just kind of naturally did. Okay, here's one where I used black and orange thread. It's kind of cloudy today, so it might not be bright. See that? That one, and this is the size of the hole. Same width as the pencil. So if you want one like that, you could probably even, if you wanted it really small, you could do one that's like the width wrapped around, fabric wrapped around, say like a skewer, and make it interesting, really small one, or even like a toothpick. So here's another design I did. It kind of looks like an eye. And that's just from kind of like, that's why I like using different colors, because you come up with some interesting designs. And let's show you another one. And then there's this one. Yeah. The holes, see, same size. It looks bigger than some of them. Some of them look bigger than the other, but the holes are the same size. So, and here's this one. Another one that kind of looks like an eye. Kind of deal. And look at the back. Hole. Now, these kind of beads, they take a lot of time, like I think I said already. So if you're doing these to find a way to make beads really fast, this is not the type of bead you want to do to rush. Each one of these beads for me takes, okay, for the small ones it takes an hour to an hour and a half, and for the larger hold ones it takes 2 to 2.5 hours per bead. So it's more about quality instead of quantity. I'll show you one more bead that's like not like these designs, a little bit different. These are some with the large spool, empty spool thread where I wrap the fabric around. These are a lot bigger. This one's an Ankh, whoops, upside down, Ankh design. Well, that's all for today. I'll show you more, and I'll show you more in detail how I do the larger embroidered bead design. Thank you for listening. Hope you guys find something creative to do today, and stay tuned for part 2.